The second thing that we see is there was a reformation. A reformation. We pick it up in verse 5. Then he set judges in the land throughout all the fortified cities of Judah, city by city, and said to the judges, take heed to what you're doing, for you do not judge for man, but for the Lord who is with you in the judgment. Now therefore, let the fear of the Lord be upon you. Take care and do it. For there is no iniquity with the Lord our God, no partiality, no taking of bribes. Moreover, in Jerusalem, for the judgment of the Lord and for controversies, Jehoshaphat appointed some of the Levites and the priests and some of the chief fathers of Israel when they returned to Jerusalem. And he commanded them, saying, thus you shall act in the fear of the Lord, faithfully and with a loyal heart. Whatever case comes to you from your brethren who dwell in their cities, whether of bloodshed or offenses against the law or commandment, against statutes or ordinances, you shall warn them, lest they trespass against the Lord, and wrath come upon you and your brethren. Do this, you will not be guilty. And take notice, Amariah the chief priest is over you in all matters of the Lord, and Zebediah the son of Ishmael, the ruler of the house of Judah, for all the king's matters. Also the Levites will be officials before you. Behave courageously, and the Lord will be with the good. There was a reformation. A reformation? What's a reformation? Well, it's a reforming. It's forming something and then reforming it. It's been formed by something. Now it needs to be reformed. And he did this by setting judges throughout all the land. And in the capital, he set up two sets of judges. He set up judges for the Lord's matters, and he set up judges for the king's matters. And he says, look, don't judge by man, judge for the Lord, because he's with you. Act in the fear of the Lord. Do it faithfully with a loyal heart. Warn them lest they transgress the Lord, and behave courageously. He sets all of these things up because the nation needed to be reformed. He had begun to lead it into, hey, it's okay to be aligned with these guys who worship other gods and are evil, the most evil, but we'll just be alongside them for pretty good stuff. No. He got corrected from that, and now he wanted to pass that correction on. He wanted to set in place the things in the nation that needed to be there. And in God's reformation of us, his reforming of us, we need to set things into our lives. Allow the Lord to set things into our lives like judges, and not just in religious matters. He set up judges for the king's matters and the Lord's matters. We need to set things into our lives so that we are judging things correctly, so that we have the points covered in our daily lives, that they are being in alignment with what the Lord wants. This is the process of sanctification. This is the reforming. Romans 12:2 says this, don't be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. Don't be conformed. Don't let the world form you. Let God transform you and reform you as you go on, that you may prove what is the good, acceptable, and perfect will of God. Prove it. I'm going to prove to you what the will of God is. Is that what that means? No, the word there actually has the sense of proving that something is genuine. Like in the days of the gold rush days when they would find gold up in the mountains and they would take the dust that they thought was gold and they would take it to the local assaying office. And they would test it to make sure and prove that it was gold. It is in that sense that when we are transformed, we prove, we show as genuine, we show as real, we show as powerful the good and acceptable and perfect will of God in our lives. That God's will is good and perfect and acceptable. Did you notice that a lot of people who are unbelievers don't believe that? They don't believe God's will is good for them. They believe God's will means, I can't have any fun anymore. I can't do all the things I like to do. I'm going to have to go do things I don't like to do. It's not going to be any fun. And what happens is when we allow the Lord to transform us, when we are reshaped by him, We allow His will to become our will. We allow our will to become His will. Then we begin to prove that His will is good. Hey, this is good. This is acceptable. I like this. It's not only good, like there's certain things that are good for you, but we go, bleh. Fiber. Blah. Supposed to eat lots of fiber. I hate things with fiber in it. But it's good for you. Okay, then I'll do it. I have to. This is not only good, it's acceptable. Hey, yeah. I like that. It's good for me, and I like it. Man, what a great deal. And it's perfect. It's perfect. It's complete. God's will active in our lives sets our life on a course where His will is proven through and in our lives to be good, acceptable, to be perfect. 2 Corinthians 3:18 says this, "But we all with unveiled face, beholding as in a mirror the glory of the Lord, are being transformed into the same image from glory to glory, just as by the Spirit of the Lord." What? I'm looking in a mirror and I see the glory of God? Really? Not first thing in the morning when I look in a mirror. Not usually when I look in a mirror. I find that I don't like looking at myself in a mirror. I really don't. I have an aversion to it. It's not that I think I'm a vampire or anything like that, but I don't like to do that. And I don't know, probably looks like I don't like to do that. I don't know. But it's when we look in the mirror, in the spiritual mirror, in His Word, when we look in there, we see the glory of God being transformed into us, because as His will, as His good, perfect, acceptable will becomes active in our lives, we begin living and walking in that will. Well, then we are changed from glory to glory, and we begin to see, wow, I did that. Man, that wasn't my idea. That was God working in me. And how cool, how wonderful to see the glory of God active in your life. As you open your heart and your spirit to Him, He will work in you so that He might work through you. And He will work through you so that He might work in someone else. It's amazing how God does that. And in that, we get transformed into the image of the glory of God. Wow. Wow. Reformation. Repentance, reformation.